Almost every single person on Earth has felt this, that eerie split second where a brand new moment suddenly feels like a memory. A place you've never been somehow feels familiar. A conversation you've never had feels like a rerun. We call it déjà vu. And for most of human history, nobody could explain it. Some thought it was a glimpse of a past life, while others thought it was a glitch in reality itself. The real answer is even stranger than any of that. Stick around till the end, because we'll also break down exactly who experiences déjà vu the most and why some brains seem to trigger it far more than others. To understand what goes wrong during déjà vu, you need to understand how your brain normally recognizes familiarity. Researchers believe déjà vu happens when two brain systems briefly disagree. Deep inside your brain sits the hippocampus, the structure responsible for forming and retrieving memories. Right next to it sits another structure called the rhinal cortex, which has a simpler job. It doesn't retrieve specific memories. It just answers one basic question. Have I encountered something like this before? Yes or no? Normally, these two systems work together. The rhinal cortex flags something as familiar, and the hippocampus immediately backs it up with an actual memory, a time, a place, a context. You see your friend's face, the rhinal cortex says familiar, and the hippocampus instantly fills in because that's your friend. You've seen them 1,000 times. The two systems agree, and the result feels completely normal. Déjà vu appears to happen when these two systems fall out of sync. In 2012, researchers at the University of St. Andrews tested this using virtual reality. They built virtual rooms that weren't identical to each other, but shared a similar layout, like matching furniture placement, without people consciously noticing the similarity. People who walked through these similar but different rooms reported way more déjà vu than people who walked through totally unrelated rooms. This gave scientists strong proof for one of the leading explanations. Your brain's familiarity system can get triggered by a partial match, even when there's no real memory backing it up. In other words, you don't need to have seen the exact room before, you just need to have seen something with a similar layout or pattern. Your rhinal cortex says, I know this. Your hippocampus searches and finds nothing that matches. The result is that strange, unsettled feeling, certainty, with zero evidence behind it. A familiarity alarm going off with no real memory attached to it. There's a second theory that fits well with this one. It's about timing, not just pattern matching. Normally, your brain processes a new moment through a few different pathways at almost the exact same time. This creates one smooth experience. Some scientists believe déjà vu happens when there's a tiny delay between these pathways. One pathway processes the moment slightly faster than the other. By the time the slower pathway catches up, your brain briefly treats the first signal like it's an older memory of the same event. It's a bit like an echo. The sound didn't actually play twice, but because of the delay, your ears hear it that way. Some researchers think déjà vu is basically a perceptual echo, a present moment that gets briefly mislabeled as something from the past just because of a tiny timing glitch in the brain. Let's understand who experiences déjà vu more often. Not everyone experiences déjà vu equally. Younger people between roughly 15 and 25 years old report it more often, the period associated with peak memory system activity and complexity. People who travel a lot or who consume a lot of movies, books, and stories also report it more often. That actually makes sense with everything we just learned. The more environments, images, and stories your brain takes in, the more raw material it has to accidentally pattern match against. Secondly, déjà vu also occurs more frequently when people are tired or under stress. Conditions under which memory processing systems are more likely to briefly fall out of sync. And finally, doctors noticed something else strange. Some patients with a specific type of epilepsy called temporal lobe epilepsy reported intense déjà vu seconds before a seizure began. For these patients, déjà vu wasn't just a weird feeling, it was a warning sign. Doctors realized something important. The seizures were starting in the same brain region tied to memory and familiarity, close to the hippocampus. When doctors used tiny electrodes to stimulate this exact region in patients during brain surgery, some patients suddenly said the same thing. This feels like it's happened before. It proved déjà vu wasn't mystical. It wasn't a glimpse of anything. It was a specific physical event happening in a specific part of the brain. Researchers have also found a possible genetic link. Some studies suggest people with a family history of certain memory-related conditions report déjà vu more frequently, hinting that some of this might be partly wired into your biology, not just your experiences. Here's what's genuinely interesting about all of this. Déjà vu isn't a glimpse into a past life. It isn't a glitch in the universe. As per the new research, experiencing deja vu is probably a good thing. It's actually proof that your brain's fact-checking system is working, actively preventing you from misremembering events that never happened. Every day, your memory system makes small mistakes by the thousands, mistakes you will never know about because they are caught and corrected, silently, instantly, with no signal sent to your conscious awareness at all. Deja vu is the rare occasion the alarm reaches you. Deja vu is the brief, strange feeling of catching your own brain in the middle of double-checking itself. This is also why deja vu tends to fade as most healthy adults get older, and why it shows up a little more in people with strong imaginations or frequent dreaming. Their pattern-matching systems may simply be a bit more active, a bit more sensitive to small similarities most brains quietly ignore. So the people throughout history who felt deja vu and thought, "I've lived this before," weren't completely wrong about the feeling. They were wrong about the cause. You haven't actually lived this moment before, but somewhere at some point, your brain saw something just similar enough that, for half a second, it got confused about which moment it was actually in. So next time you walk into a new room and feel that eerie wave of familiarity, you're not imagining it. You're not losing your mind. You're not glimpsing a past life. You're watching your own brain catch itself mid-mistake. A familiarity signal firing just slightly ahead of the truth. It's not a window into the past. It's proof that somewhere inside you, a system built to keep you oriented in time is working exactly as it should, even on the rare moments it briefly trips over itself. The feeling lasts a few seconds. If this made you see deja vu a little differently, you're going to love what we cover next. We dig into the strange, hidden parts of how your mind actually works, the stuff nobody really explains. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And drop a comment. What's the strangest deja vu moment you've ever had? I read every single one. See you in the next video.